What is going on YouTube? It's Brendan from Market Makers. Wow, what a packed day we have for you guys. So guys, we have a lot of things to talk about. We have the crypto Ponzi scheme to talk about involving Stranger Freed, as I call him, because he looks like a character from Stranger Things. And now it's Sam Bankman-Fried and the liquidity crunch that he has at FTX. I have never liked Sam Bankman-Fried. I have said this repeatedly. I always thought he had that air about him of a charlatan, okay? Of a Charles Ponzi. You know, CNBC labeled him the JP Morgan of crypto, and look at him now. Now he had $26 billion with a B. Right? I think he was the youngest billionaire to get to that level that fast. 26 billion. He lost 94% of his wealth in a day. A day. He has less than $1 billion now. He had to orchestrate a fire sale deal, which we don't know the details of, with Binance, and it looks like Binance may be backing out now. Now, I believe in karma. I believe people get what they deserve. And Sam, of course, is the second largest donor to the Democrat Party. Why is that significant? Why even mention that? Because who did the Democrat Party install to regulate crypto? Gensler at the SEC. You want to see how that's going? Why don't you ask the people from XRP? We need to support people that support crypto, that don't support their other ideology. We don't need Gensler and the SEC labeling everything securities and making it difficult, if not impossible, for the average person to get involved in crypto. I don't like Sam. I knew he was doing something fishy. He's out there making hundreds of millions of dollars in loans, and apparently, and again, we don't know the details yet because it's a private company, but things are being leaked from the company. The news is reporting on it. None of this is my investigation, guys. I'm reporting what I'm reading from CNBC, what I'm hearing on the news. He has Alameda Research Labs, which he is basically using as a hedge fund. And apparently, and again, this is all apparent, apparently the FTT token was the largest part of collateral. So his fake money that he made that has zero value was being used as collateral, and which is why they have this liquidity crunch. They had a $6 billion run between Saturday and Tuesday on the exchange. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried, of course, loves the Democrats, supports the Democrats, second largest billionaire donor to the Democrat Party, yet formed his business offshore so he doesn't have to pay taxes or adhere to any types of regulations. So it's just the height of hypocrisy, guys. The height of hypocrisy of this character who actually talked to Congress and the Senate about needing regulations. And here he is, from what the outside appearance of it as of right now, looks like he was running a Ponzi scheme. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. And when you think about this, guys, if you think about this on this level, I want free exchange. As a human being, as a citizen, as somebody that makes my own money, I want the freedom to choose what I want to invest in. It's my business if what I invest in goes to zero. That's my money. That's my risk. I know most of you watching this have that libertarian bent as well. You feel the same way. I don't want somebody telling me I can't buy XRP like Gensler, which is why it's not listed on any of the American exchanges. I can't buy it because it's a security. And that was being funded, right? That type of campaign was being funded by Bankman-Fried, the guy who supposedly loves crypto, loves the freedom of DeFi, and yet he's funding the party that's trying to restrict your ability to buy and play in this asset class. That alone just really just pisses me off. But on top of that, guys, we have a couple members in the room that were on FTX US. They weren't able to withdraw their money like many users were complaining. They raised the minimum withdrawal amount. So one of our users deposited more money to reach that minimum and then withdraw the whole thing. And guess what? They still won't let them withdraw it. Guys, where you trade matters. This is not a sales pitch for you to go to one of my sponsored exchanges. This is a sales pitch for you to understand the environment we are trading in. We are in an environment where a lot of these things are going to zero. There will be some of these coins that have zero value. There will be bankruptcies in banks. There will be a financial crisis at some point next year in 2023. That's my baseline. Severe recession / depression with the financial crisis. And for all these Ponzi scheme exchanges that make loans based off of garbage tokens, they're going to go under. So my prediction for Bankman-Fried is he's going to pull a Do Kwon while his exchange pulls a Voyager or a Celsius. Sam's not going to disappear. I'm not saying that, but he's going to still have plenty of money. He has less than $1 billion now out of 26 billion, but he'll still have plenty of money, and you'll still see the people that pumped him up like CNBC talk about him with so much respect about he's so smart. He'll do something else in this space. This is just why we need transparency. We need more regulations. Idiots like Bankman-Fried are going to bring more regulation to this space because from all appearances, again, from all appearances of what I'm reading, this is not my allegation, but it appears that he was being a criminal. He was knowingly misleading the investors, the people that put money there that thought it was safe. That is criminal activity, which again is why he didn't want his company in the US. Okay? So you guys know my feeling about Bankman-Fried. So that's where that is. But guys, definitely on any exchange that you are trading on, make sure you only keep what you are trading with. I tell people this all the time. I am sponsored by BITGET. I am sponsored by SimpleFX. I have had zero problems with them. Our members have had zero problems with them. These are two extremely liquid exchanges. Obviously, SimpleFX is tied into thousands of exchanges around the world, dealing in Forex. 6 to 12 trillion a day is done in the Forex space alone. Trillion, okay? Very liquid. BitGet is offshore from the US. You do need a VPN. BitGet has never given us a single problem, but even having said that, I only keep on BitGet what I am trading with. You make profits, guys, don't be lazy. Get it off the damn exchanges, okay? Get it off the exchanges. Protect your money. You're going to see massive declines, and you haven't seen anything yet. Wait until the equities markets really shit the bed, and you will see crypto absolutely collapse. So if you're watching Four Flies, who puts out a video this past week saying Bitcoin to 81K, if you saw Tone Bays do an interview, I think on Kitco or somebody, saying Bitcoin's going to 100K next year, stop wasting your time. Send these videos, these types of videos to your friends, people that actually understand the market cycle, because you're going to see a collapse in risk assets, and crypto is a risk asset. I cannot be adamant about this enough. Okay, I got a text from a friend who just lost a ton of money in Solana. We're going to go over that chart. Why? Because he didn't sell when I told him to sell. Because he had that mentality, and he's a good friend, and he's going to be cursing at me after he watches this video. He had that mentality, it'll go back up. It'll go back up. Yeah, it may go back up if it survives. It could take years to get back to where it was, okay? That's what you guys need to understand. Watching this channel is about financial freedom, financial education, and you need to understand the market cycle. I understand the market cycle we are trading in. People on TV do not. People in the crypto space, especially these teenagers that have zero experience in the financial world, have zero idea what is happening in the world right now. Zero idea. Protect yourself, protect your assets at all times. Let's jump into the TA. Oh, one more thing. A lot of the foreign viewers here, our friends in Europe, asking about election results. Not going to give you too many opinions on that because this isn't a political show. It's a financial freedom show. But the Republicans, it looks like, are going to win the House. Gridlock, which can be good for the markets. I don't know if they're going to win the Senate. We have two states. It may end up the Senate is still 50-50. We still have two states, I believe, still counting results. So the Senate may be the exact same way. The House may flip. And that's about it, guys. Now, I will say, because I live in Florida, and I know we have a lot of Florida friends here, a lot of people that visit Florida, love Florida. Florida, for the first time since post-Civil War, right? Since post-Civil War in my country, I think Joe Biden was a teenager then, back in the Civil War. He may have fought in the Civil War. But since post-Civil War, this is the first time Florida is not sending any Democrats to Washington, D.C. That's right. A clean, massive red tsunami in Florida. We have nobody going to DC that is a Democrat. The Democrat strongholds in our state flipped to Republican. Now, this isn't an ad for Republicans. I'm not even a Republican. This is an ad for the great people of Florida that put ideas above party. I've long said, get rid of the stupid party R&D and let people vote on the best qualified person. And that is why DeSantis, our governor, won in a landslide. That is why the majority of all, well, I guess all the Republicans won that were running their races. That is why we are not sending anybody that wants to increase taxes, minimize your personal freedom, and mandate certain medicines that some of us don't want to take or don't need to take because we already have immunity. Okay, so ideas win. Florida is a proving ground for that, which is why the media hates us. So for my friends in New York, because New York is hemorrhaging people down to Florida, if you believe in all of these things, freedom, no taxes and low taxes, come to Florida. If you don't believe in any of these things, stay the hell where you are. With all due respect, we don't want you here. Okay, so very, very proud of my state. Very happy about my state. Let's jump into the TA. All right. TA, guys. So Dante's Descent. Lots of people are asking about this. Dante's Descent. Ooh, talk about your pattern. The pattern's invalidated. Well, here's the deal, guys. From the all-time high down to our bar that was supposed to drop, the October 31st bar that went to November 6th, okay? It was supposed to drop the day after it started dropping, okay? The day after, November 7th, is when we made a new low. So I am sorry, my pattern that goes back to November was 24 hours off. But I guess if you live in Australia, it wasn't 24 hours off. It might have been like 5 hours off. So we're getting our drop now. We made a new low in Bitcoin, Dante's Descent. When we bottom, guys, that's when we're going to look for the wave up. So this is pretty damn good for being such a massive candlestick pattern. Missed the window by 24 hours for the drop, getting that drop the following day, that convergence of the candles, okay? Made a new low. Let's look on Bitcoin on the daily to see where that low is. That low got down to 16,821. 16,821 is your new low in the marketplace. Guys, this is going to get a lot lower. What we have happening now with the CPI comes out tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. If that number comes in hot, last month it was 8.1%. If it comes in with an 8 handle, I believe the markets are going to sell off. The markets sell off. If they breach their lows, Bitcoin already breached its low. It's going down lower, guys. So we're going to cover Bitcoin, look at Solana, look at XRP, and go over the indices. And we're already 12 minutes in. So sorry for you guys that don't like my rants, but I have to rant. It's just part of who I am. Let's start off on the TNX. TNX is a 10-year yield. That's still elevated, 4.106. Okay, nothing exciting, but you want to stay basically above 4%. Keeps elevated pressure on the market, okay? DXY. DXY is still a little bit suppressed here. It is down thrusting in Wyckoff. That sounds so dirty. And that is 110.04 right now, okay? So you want to keep the DXY, as I said, above 109, right? You want to, ideally, if inflation, ironically, right, what's going to happen is if inflation comes in hot, you're probably going to see the DXY go up, even though that's counterintuitive, right? Because inflation would be bad for the value of the currency because it therefore takes more currency to buy certain things. Well, the logic is if inflation's high, the dollar will go up because the Fed will keep raising rates, okay? Elevated 10-year yield keeps pressure on the marketplace. So going back to Dante's Descent, guys. So again, these were fib level targets, right? I told you all along this is a bottoming pattern in Bitcoin looking for a wave, and we are getting our candle, albeit 24 hours late, but we are getting our candle to the downside now. Now we have that 10,591, but again, if you add our other targets in here, let me go ahead and do this. If we add, what is that, the 1618? So we can add the 1414, that's 17,956. We already passed that. We can do the, actually, there is nothing else below this on the weekly. The 1414 goes to 1618. So we're already past that. So we need to look on the daily, okay? Or we got to change our wave projection. But let's look on the daily. Here's another view of the weekly on BITGET, which is a platform I trade on personally, guys, that we have never had problems with. I am a big fan of BITGET because they have constantly enhanced their user interface, their UI. They've made changes that we've suggested. They've been fantastic to deal with, and we have a lot of members that trade on BITGET. You guys should definitely consider trying it out, and if not, at the very least, get the hell off of FTX so you don't get your coins locked up, okay? Looking here on BITGET, on Bitcoin on the weekly, I've been talking about this for how many videos? Dow theory and waves, right? Higher, lower high, wave, lower high, and there's your rollover. Now, guys, if you took my trade, I gave you this trade, my friends. I gave you this trade, okay? Last video, we were hovering at 21K. I told you I posted a short at 21.2. We talked about the MFI showing clear bearish divergence, higher highs in price, lower highs in the MFI, the volume weighted RSI. Guys, this is our own MFI. You can get a free version from TradingView. This is our customized MFI by Fractal Trade 15. It is a gift as well as a volume indicator when you join our trading room for education community and of course TA and trades. The join button is right underneath this video. Integrate it into YouTube. Come check this out because now is the time you want to be in our room, guys. When we have movement in crypto, and we're trading equities and stuff too on SimpleFX, guys, so check them out. But when we have movement, and so far this was a almost 22% move. You guys realize with 5x leverage, that's 100% on your money, and you can do the math levering up. When you have high probability trades, this is the whole point of trading. High probability trades, multiple confluences, understanding the market cycle, boom, easy money, 21% drop. A lot of our members are still in this trade. If that CPI comes in hot, we can see this lever back down. And of course, I will be looking for more entries if we do bounce back up on smaller time frames. So for those of people that did miss out, try to find a new entry into Bitcoin. But let's go ahead and get some projections here, okay? Let's cover this. So if we bounce back up, the easiest thing to do is just look at your fibs going back to the upside, right? So Bitcoin right now has resistance at 17,387, resistance at 1879. It could bounce back up, right? Especially if the CPI comes in cold, lower inflation, which I don't think it will, meaning if the 7 handle on the front of it, I don't think it will. But, watch for any type of inflection against the 618, which is at 18,907. And if it did come in low, like 7.9% inflation, you could see this come back up. Okay, at that point, I want to take a new wave projection. But just normal rebounds, I'm looking at the fibs as they lay. Okay, so I'm looking at 17.4, 18,000 here on a larger time frame. Now, if we go ahead and look at this, our daily 233, 200 do not look like they will be coming in contact with anytime soon, barring a major reversal due to the CPI, okay? But let's go ahead and look at this pulling down. If we continue our downward trek, the one fib is at 16,740. Let me go ahead and get the one spot 128 on here. One spot 128 is at 16,014, 1272 at 15,198, 1414, 14.4, 1618, guys, 13,235. That would be the target if the markets reverse, meaning go down with a hot CPI, looking for Bitcoin to finally come down. On the weekly, I have that 10.5. Again, we talked about this, measuring this from the bodies, you get a little bit higher price. If you measure from the wicks, you get 12,000 something. Measuring from the bodies, you get 13.2. So you're looking in that range of 10.5 to 13, somewhere in there to find your 1618, depending how you measure this wave with the candles, okay? And this is what I'm looking for if the markets turn down with a hot CPI, okay? Which they will turn down with a hot CPI. I don't see why they would rally with a hot CPI, but markets are irrational. And you have a lot of sentiment and people want that Santa Claus rally. Just don't think it's going to happen. 8-hour time frame, as you can see, we already lost the 200, 233 easily. Let's go ahead and click this. I don't have the 4-hour opens. Let's just jump to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, you were oversold on the MFI, lost your 200, 233 once again. Guys, we go over this on this channel a lot. You guys hear me talk about long-term moving averages. You hear me talk about the tide being out, Dow theory, downward, primary downtrend. Always looking for these trades whenever you contact or break above the 200, 233. This was a long time to stay above it, but ultimately, again, primary downtrend, you still failed, okay? Understand the trend, understand the market cycle. Jumping to Solana. I threw this on the weekly. Solana just released some more coins, I believe. One of my members just mentioned it right before I jumped on here to record. But, let's go ahead and get a projection of Solana. This is the weekly time frame. We're going to take our trend-based fib and we're going to measure it just the same way we did with Bitcoin here, okay, between these two peaks. And you can see Solana is at 1715 right now. Big dump so far. 1715. 764 fib takes you down to 251. So this is a wave projection. Okay, let's go ahead and do this on a smaller time frame. I could easily see Solana, by the way, going down to $2.51. And if you look at this, how accurate is this, do you ask? Look at your 618. 2946. Look how many weeks you held the 618. Weeks, guys. These aren't days. These aren't hours. These are weeks. And now you finally broke through it. So your bias is going to be on the weekly time frame to come to the 764 fib at $2.51. This does not mean, my friends, that it's not going to do this, okay? This doesn't mean it can't do this, make a double top, come back down, all this stuff. It can wave up and down, up and down. Remember, the tide is the primary trend. The waves are these movements in price over time, and the ripples in the water are the intraday movements on the hourly time frames, okay? So Solana, to me, everything in crypto, if the markets turn down, will go lower. Important thing to understand. Let's go ahead and look at this on the daily. Go to the daily. Zoom this back in some, put this in scope. So you can see we took this projection from up here. Now it's no longer aligned with the candles. So let's go ahead and do this down here in this tranche. Okay, this will give us some more targets here. So if we want to do a wave projection, let's open this up. Let's go ahead and do this from the peak here down to the valley. So lowest point there up to the peak. Okay, and let's see where we're going here. This gives you some more targets. You're looking at the one fib at 14.99. You're at 17.19 right now, but you bounced up a little bit higher, okay? So your resistance above you is 18.80, 22.87, and the big test, guys, if Solana does end up coming back up, watch that 618. Again, the 618 that you've held as a base for multiple weeks at 27.75. Watch for a rejection there, right? Build that inverse cup, the Livermore pivot to the downside. If it does come back up there, that would be a substantial move. It may not get anywhere near that, but definitely watch your 1880 and your 764 at 2287. And you can, of course, zoom in. We're not going to do it in this video, into the smaller time frames and look for some entries. Don't chase candles, guys. When you have a big dump, if you didn't get in on this dump, let it settle, let it rebound. It will find resistance and then trade accordingly. If you chase big red bars, lots of people would end up shorting down here, and price might do this, and all you did was lose money with price rising, and you get stopped out, okay? So just be patient. If you miss a dump, you miss a dump. It'll always come back around. And let's go ahead and look at the price here just to capture this drop. Whoa, that's a 60% drop. 60%. What day was this? This was Monday. So this started Saturday. It made its peak. Saturday, so between Saturday and today, 60% drop. That's absolutely mental. This is why I came to crypto, guys. As a trader, this is what you want. You want volatility. This is why the equities is so much fun now too, because the equities are flying all over the place. Normally the S&P moves 10% in a year. You're getting 10% rallies and dumps every few weeks. So this is a really fun time to be a trader. So definitely consider checking out our room, and please do check out our sponsors. It supports this channel, and like and subscribe to the video. XRP, guys. XRP, as you guys know, we've shorted this multiple times. Many of you in the comments have told me about your success for shorting this. XRP also dumped. You're down at 36 cents right now. And XRP found support at 35.86 at the 3-2 fib. Your resistance coming back up be to 0.5 at 37 cents. Almost 39 cents at the 618. And of course, the 40-cent level at the 786. If you bounce back up, this is also where your 150 moving average is. So you want to see the market settle. You want to see where XRP does, see if it comes back up, find some resistance. You can zoom in smaller time frames and look at that as well. Let's go to the Dow. The Dow, everything's red right now. The Dow, again, the reason that I'm shorting the Dow, because basic TA here of our Fibonacci fan, the 618, providing excellent resistance. Wicks above, always came back down, just like now. Also, the 50 weekly moving average, and we're at the top of the triangle. I'm looking for this with a hot CPI to come down and at least retest the 200 weekly. The 200 weekly, okay, where it got below and bounced back up. And that also happens to line up with my trend-based fib projection of 29,833 with the 618. So I'm looking for a move from here from 33K to 29K, which would be a massive, massive win and a massive trade, guys. So definitely consider checking out SimpleFX to trade these items as well. And let's go ahead, and the links for all that stuff is in the video description, guys, as well as the tutorial, as well as our Twitter. Sorry, I know I'm getting all this piecemeal through the video, but my mind thinks very, very rapidly, and I just talk. I don't script anything. A couple of you guys asked me, how do you remember to talk about all this stuff? I don't. I always leave things out I want to talk about. I don't take notes. I've been blessed since I was a kid with a photographic memory. So normally the key things I want to talk about, I can just extemporaneously talk about them really quickly, but I always leave things out. So looking at this, the Russell on the daily, guys, the Russell's bouncing off the 50. Again, always looking for our market shapes. We didn't kiss the 200. That hasn't changed. And you're rolling over a little bit here, making a double top type action. We're going to find out. The moment of truth is going to be tomorrow. Looking at our MFI, building a double top as well. The moment of truth will be tomorrow with the CPI. If it comes in hot, I expect all the markets to come down. I expect them to revisit the quadrant of their lows. To the exact dollar, I cannot give, my friends, but I expect them to revisit the quadrant of their lows, basic TA principle, giving up the pump. Okay. So I expect all of these to come down with a hot CPI. Let's jump over to the S&P. S&P on the weekly got rejected at the 3860. As you can see, came back down. The S&P trading at 3800. Psychologically, you need to be above 3,900 to have a shot at 4,000. But the S&P, which nobody's going to talk about on the business news because they don't understand this type of TA, is literally trading in a golden triangle, which is our 618 Fibonacci fans. Again, simple areas to look at to potentially short, because when you pop out, you get rejected and you get big moves. We never got back up. You're kind of in that mid range. Let's go ahead and go to the daily on this one. And you can see 3914 here providing excellent resistance, and you're being rejected at 38.33. The daily 200, 233. If the CPI does come in low, or if some other major catalyst happens and the markets get excited, you could look to rally to that and then build your top like you did here and get rejected and wave down. Bottom line is, guys, I don't have a Santa Claus rally for the markets in my books. Okay. Everybody else does. When I say everybody else, I think it's 75% of Wall Street, maybe even 80% of Wall Street now expects a Santa Claus rally to go into Q1, where you will feel the real pain of the earnings coming down. I don't share that view. I don't share that view at all. I view every single leading economic indicator is getting worse. I think Q4 earnings will be worse than expected. You're seeing that in some of the earnings that are coming out in some of these later companies. I think they're going to be worse than expected. And I think with a hot CPI, the Fed will keep 75 basis points on the table for the December meeting. And that's all the market needs to hear to get scared, is the potential for another 75. If they have that potential, markets will sell off. I'm not saying you will make new lows, but I think you will revisit these lows. Q4 comes out, earnings come out. If they are worse, remember this goes in steps. If they are worse, then you pull down some more. And this is how declines happen. You get wave patterns up, wave patterns down, lower highs, lower lows, primary downtrend. The tide is out. The time is up. This video is almost over. Wait, I forgot the NASDAQ. Damn it. I had a great outro. I forgot the NASDAQ. All right, so let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ on the weekly, guys, is 618 is at 11,347. But you are being, I'll zoom in this time so you can see it. You're being rejected by the 233 on the weekly time frame. So the NASDAQ is below its weekly 200, 233. Primary downtrend below the 618, okay? Below the 618. Now, where the NASDAQ is going to be in real trouble is when eventually it gets down to the 1 fib, okay? The 1 fib, because the 1 fib is going to have you down at the 1618. The 1 fib's beneath you on the fib fan, and you look at that number, 7,767. Guys, that is a massive drop in the NASDAQ. And as you guys know, I do believe all of these markets will be in a severe earnings recession going into next year. I expect Q1, Q2 to be bloody, and I think you're going to have that recession based on the lag that's involved with the inverted yield curves hit sometime. It could be spring next year. I guess the latest may be summer, because remember, when the Fed hikes rates, it can take, depending who you listen to, 6 to 12 months to work its way into the marketplace. Now, I know in the 3-month and the 10-year yield invert, I know that's a 5 to 8 month lag based on a statistical average. So 5 to 8 month lag from now puts us out spring, summer next year, recession, earnings will be lower. Guys, it could be very, very red. Really do appreciate you guys watching the channel. See, this outro is not going to be as cool. I appreciate you guys watching the channel, and definitely like, subscribe, check out our sponsors, support the channel, consider joining our room. I will see all of you next video, which we will have the CPI for that next video. Watch the markets react, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Dark Powell. We'll look at this CPI as well, guys, and you're going to see what they do based on this number. They'll send some Fed people out there. Talk to you guys next video. Take care, everybody.